some odd poems. Not all of them. I have only 7 poems that actually deal with marijuana, and the rest of them are a variety of subjects. But the marijuana poetry has been very kind to me and helped me to travel and to meet a lot of different people. And I would encourage anybody out there listening to take the time. I know you just can't fly off to Toronto for the Treating Yourself Medical Marijuana Expo next summer. Some people can, some people can't. But take the time to participate wherever you are in whatever type of event that you can and meet people and start networking. And it's very important that you do that. A strength in numbers is a real thing.
That's so true.
Absolutely.
Each May there are marches in capital cities. I take the time to go down to Austin and march, and then the Texas Normal people have several events each year. So if you're in the hill country of Texas, or I know that Dallas-Fort Worth has a strong a chapter, and so just speaking to Texans, get out. Texas is so backward when it comes to this subject, so it's important that we as Texans get out and do our part to educate the citizens of Texas as well as those around the United States.
I find Texas to be an interesting bipolar state. There are places like Austin where everybody seems to be pretty mellow about it. The cops don't seem to be stressed about it. And then you get about 20 miles outside of Austin and you can spend the rest of your life in jail for a joint.
I hear that the Austin area, Travis County, is the only place in Texas where the law enforcement are actually handing out tickets rather than taking people off to jail. The police officers have the option of ticketing or arresting marijuana holder, and most policemen in Travis County, from what I understand, will perhaps give you a ticket, but elsewhere you're subject to go to jail and do not pass go.
It's also that way in several other counties, in particular here in East Texas. There's several that are like that. It's up to the officer's discretion if he finds something and all. But this law is kind of deceiving, though. It's like when they first.
I got to interrupt here because here's what I found. I found that it's time for us to take a commercial break so we can pay our bills, but we'll come right back after that here at Time for Hemp. Yeah, baby, let me introduce myself. My name, Casper Leitch. The program you are listening to, Time for Hemp Live, where on AmericanFreedomRadio.com and on AM, FM stations all across the world. This has been listener call-in night, and apparently no listener wanted to call in. So, hey, we've had a great chat with Carey Burns and Paul Bullock, and we're being joined by Dean Becker. But before anybody says anything, I got a question I want to throw out to the three of you. Am I thinking right when I consider the office of the DEA to be the buttocks, the rear end of the American justice system, and that Eric Holder is the primary hemorrhoid there blocking everything?
That's putting it nicely, Casper.
Hey, this is Dean. I got my thoughts on this. You're absolutely right, but I would say it even extends beyond that. They are the fear mongers of planet Earth. That's what they're all about. Fear.
Killers of the Constitution.
Yeah, hey, I want to send a shout-out to Carey Burns, Cannabis Corner. I appreciate your work, and to Paul especially. He's been a guest on my shows, and I wanted to thank him once again for Carpool Mom, one of my favorites of all time.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's nice. I like that. The deal about the DEA is that they're very spiteful and mean, and I associate them with the Nazis that are just brown shirts that are out to wreck somebody's life. And somebody posted something on MySpace or Facebook or whatever it was today about some of the victims of this drug false information or bad information that ends up in the death of an elderly, or this has been happening all over the United States. Several years back in Austin, we gathered and we had a signature event, and we presented the Travis County commissioners with a petition to stop nighttime drug raids, and it worked, and they stopped. And so, again, I encourage people to get out there and do something to stop the insanity that's going on out there.
It is just crazy.
Absolutely right, Paul. You know, it's so aggravating, really, that more people aren't willing to speak up, because so many people know the truth and they're just afraid. The fear is what gives the drug war life. We've got to get over the fear. We got to stand up for who we are.
Absolutely, I agree, and that's what I was saying earlier in the show, is that I have so many friends, and they don't mind, you know, smoking marijuana or doing whatever they want to do, and then you just say, hey, would you call the congressman and ask him to take the drug off Schedule 1, take it off the Schedule 1, and get it as a medical herb, and they're afraid, they're truly afraid that their jobs are going to be in jeopardy, or something will go haywire, and the government will find out. And you're right, that keeps people in line. Very well.
Yeah, I know. When I go visit the old shipping company that I used to work for, they won't let me sign their guest book when I come in to visit, because I sign in as Casper Leitch, you know, from company Time for Hemp, and they're just horrified that the authorities are going to have their packages expected more and have more of the federal boys coming in. And I'm living in India, and they employed me for 3 years, and they're afraid to have me sign in now on their guest book.
The fear, it's outrageous.
If there was some way that we could unite and come out in force, and here's another thing that really kills me, is that people vote for people who want to put them and their family members and friends in jail. And until we stop electing people who want to put us in jail, they will continue to put us in jail. And so until we come out in force and in voting force and become vocal, it's going to remain the same. And that's what frustrates me, is people who just won't step up to the plate, whether financially or with their time or even a phone call.
Absolutely right.
Well, now we're getting down to the last few minutes here. Let's start promoting everybody's show. We'll start off with Dean Becker, who's going to be on your program this weekend. Dean.
Okay, I'm still here at the Harm Reduction Conference in Austin. We're going to have the director of the HRC, Alan Clear, Ethan Nadelman, head of the Drug Policy Alliance, Alexandra Goldman of the San Francisco Drug Users Union, a dozen more, mind you, a couple of LEAP speakers, and we're going to speak to this gentleman. I can't say his name, but I'll call him Taz, and he lives in Afghanistan, and he's going to tell us about all the opium and marijuana that's being grown there, and talk about the fact they don't smoke the flowers at all. They don't. Yeah. They just smoke the hash.
That's it. And when you see Ethan, I know it's not your nature to give another guy a hug, so just give him a big hearty handshake for him and tell him that I'm looking forward to having him back on the show in the month of December.
Okay, and folks can tune into my shows Sunday evening. Go to drugtruth.net, 6:30 to 7:30. That's when they'll first air.
All right, and Carey Burns, give us a promo.
One thing they don't realize real quick, too, in Afghanistan, they produce 3,000 metric tons of hashish every year there. And y'all can catch our show. It's at the freedomfiles.us website or on the YouTube. It's called the Cannabis Corner. You can go to the Freedom Files website and just click on the Cannabis Corner and pick up all the videos. And also urge all of you to listen weekdays 3 to 5, Monday through Friday for the Freedom Files radio show with James and Jeff. It's a great show.
And Paul Bullock, how can people find you?
At paulbullock.com, and then Facebook and all that, MySpace and everything. I encourage people to get out and get active, and thank you so much for your work, Captain. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it. All right, and next week is... You're welcome. Next week is Leap Week, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, so make sure that when you tune in, you got a big old gnarly bowl and some friends sitting around when you take Time for Hemp.